Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Closer Look. We're going to look at a place in LA. It is very eclectic and I really love it. Let's dive right in. Okay, so this is I've got it all zoomed in. Hang on. Let me zoom out. Okay, so this is in the New York Times. It was recently published, and interestingly, now I don't see a date. There it is, August 16th, 2024 by Nick Haramis. And we can go through the whole thing, but I would rather actually go, I mean, take that in, right? Oof. Oh, okay, but I'm gonna skip forward real quick. We'll come back, but I want to focus in on this space. Maybe it's not the space you would focus in on, but let us take in for a moment this dining room. So what really caught my eye about the space in general is the kind of monotone color scheme. It's all these yellows, and I'm referring also to all the wood tones that are in the orange and yellow, I mean red orange, but mostly yellow and orange yellow, and then desaturated versions of that. So let me zoom out just a little and then stop fussing with the size of this thing. Okay. So a couple things that I read about in the article that I can fill you in on. This extraordinary dining room table came from Thailand. The couple who owns this house bought it while they were there and had it shipped back. It's a tree trunk, and it's a slab from a tree trunk. So it's some tropical wood, almost impossible to replicate. I mean, literally impossible to get this for yourself in its exact form, but I love the inspiration it gives to try something that is not a rectangle and to see what's possible. I mean, this is such a stunning amount of seating that goes around it. So it's kind of an hourglass shape. It goes in the middle, and then it fans out on this, and at least on this end. This end maybe is a little more rectangular. It makes for a really wonderful photo. And then we can see that the mixed seating they have includes some benches, some upholstered benches. Everything is upholstered, the chairs too, which is nice. In a living room, it's really nice. In a dining room, it's really nice to have comfortable chairs to sit on. Everyone can relax. The dining room table is a great place to hang out, as I'm discovering in my own home. There's something about having the table. It covers a little of you. You can lean forward. You can shift your positions around. You're all together. You're sort of facing each other without being too much in your face. So there's a lot of, I don't know, a lot that I'm appreciating about hanging out around a dining room table. So one of the other things I am really appreciating about this dining room is the variety. Let's call it hodgepodge. It's a hodgepodge. It is such a hodgepodge. There's so much variety. So there's like a couple of seats that are the same, but like three, out of like a seating, a table with seating for maybe 20, 25, which is an incredible number of seats for a single dining room table. A lot of that is accomplished by benches, and probably each of these benches, you're not going to have more than two people. Fair enough. That's fine. So I'm exaggerating when I say 25, but you could if you had to. So and then the hodgepodge is reflected in the chairs and in the abundance of pendant lights, which is so fun. It's got this playful quality. It's also kind of boldly expressive. It also just looks really beautiful. The nice thing about these pendants, a lot of them are glass. So in this very earthy very heavy space, really. We have the sparkle of the glass. That's such a nice contrast to these sort of dull tones. And a couple little bursts of color. They're not that bright, you know, even in the glass pendants, the colors are still pretty subdued. But yeah, the little bit of reflective quality gives it this bit of sparkle. So a really nice touch there. And then another detail that I was intrigued by that I read about in the article is the ceiling. And the article talks a little bit about the renovation this couple did. It's not recent. It's a little bit of an odd article. It kind of reads like a social column, so heads up when you get to that. But they did mention that the ceiling used to be that popcorn ceiling finish. Popcorn, cottage cheese. People call it these two words, and usually that conjures an image for for anyone listening. So you know, it's a material that's sprayed on, and it's like a mixture of paint and, you know, honestly, what is it? It's probably paint and some kind of little cementitious mm, particulate, like vermiculite, something that has a little size to it, not super fine, so that you end up with a really textured ceiling and it's scrapey. And to get it off is kind of a hassle. It creates a really big mess. You have to scrape it. You can also cover it. I don't know how they got rid of it in this space, but just to know they got rid of it and installed instead the ceiling you see here, which are these exposed wood beams. Those are the long, dark brown. And then the lath, which are the horizontal pieces, which are the skinnier pieces in a slightly different color. And those are from old grapevines. So that's a reclaimed material that they can take advantage of in California. If you haven't been to a vineyard in California, well, then maybe you haven't been to California because the vineyards are really everywhere. There's so many vineyards. So grape vine lath, interesting Google search term. I'm gonna have to look that up as a reclaimed material. Now, it's not a real like structurally substantial material. It's gonna be really thin. You know, it's gonna be like a quarter inch or less and maybe an eighth of an inch thick. So it's really superficial. It's really just to create the look. And then they have the roof, and hopefully they have a little insulation in the roof. But one other detail I'll just share with you about this space, and you know, we can look at other spaces here too. Uh, One other detail I'll mention. Let's look at this. Let's look at this living room. Is that they don't have a lot of heating in here, and they don't have a lot of air conditioning, and they live in LA. LA doesn't get extraordinarily cold, but every now and again it does. And with climate change, they're definitely having a lot more heat. So they don't have any air conditioning and they have really limited heat. They used to have heated floors, which is so nice, but it broke and they decided they did not want to pull up all this saltillo tile, which is a really beautiful floor. It can be replaced, but these owners are really particular. They like the way it looks old. And I think there's even a quote in here that's like, you can't make something look old as if it were really old. I don't know about that. But anyway, they decided not to do this repair for their house because they really love the way it looks. So when it gets cold, they bundle up, is what they say. Again, we see a lot of these different pendant lights, lots of lighting. It's definitely also going to be dim in here. None of these lights are going to produce a ton of light. I mean, these shades are very heavy. You know, they're satin. They look really nice. They also add some texture, but these are all really dim spaces. This very interesting lamp over here might provide some decent reading light for someone sitting next to it. An interesting layout for a living space. You know, I love a day bed, and this one is just gorgeous. Just more places to nap. I wonder if there's something about like having various places to sleep besides your bedroom during the day that's like beneficial. Here's the bedroom. And I don't have anything really to add here. I think I'm not loving the bed, and so I'm keeping my mouth shut. These are cute chairs. Mm, yeah, I'm gonna move on from that. It's fine. Love the pool. Pool is tiled with 3 different shades of green slate. It's a gorgeous pool. So, if you're in LA and it's really hot and you have a pool, that's a fine solution for cooling down. Here's the dining room. Dang, I really do like that dining room. I think I just really love the benches. I love the benches. I love that there's so many benches. I love that there's so much seating. I love that it doesn't match. I love that there's all this wood, all the wood tones. They have picked a color for these vertical pieces. The vertical, this is the wall. This might have even originally been the exterior of the house. This kind of looks like an exterior siding material. And it's a very, what is that? It's like a very, it's tan. It's got yellow in it. It's tan. Maybe has just a little bit of orange in it as well. Symmetrical lamps here. These are cute. A photo and a sideboard. And then otherwise, we're just consumed with all of this dining room table arrangement. Mm. So, and then let's see. Okay, this is another nice little seating area. Wait, is this the same as the bedroom? This is the bedroom again. This is the same bedroom from a different point of view. Sorry for all the scrolling. Just double checking. Yes. See these chairs? Chair, 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 chair. Okay. So looking at it from this point of view, like now I like it much better. This is a better view. This is what a power of a photo can do, right? And a fire in the fireplace, how cozy is that? Although, yeah, again, air pollution is real, especially in LA, so I'm sure they're not allowed to burn fires every time it's cold. There's going to be for sure no burn days, whether it's fire season or it's winter in California. That is just a fact of life, but still a lovely space. And you could always get an insert that's more something, a clean burning fuel or electric. I'm sure they wouldn't do that though, the way these people come across in this article. So here's a more robust living space. And now we can see that it's actually connected to that dining room over there. So the ceiling seems to have, it's just sort of like a display for a million different pendants. I don't know. I think they mentioned in the article, they call them lanterns, all these different lanterns from different parts of their travels that they've collected. And so they come home, they call the electrician, and they ask for another lantern to be hung up. Huge sofa, super fun. I love the atmosphere, the sense of gathering that these large pieces sort of suggest, that lots of people can come together here. It's a really neat house. I mean, this is a very California feel, low bungalow, 1 story, lots of light, very indoor, outdoor. I mean, the tile floor, the feeling with all the plants. I mean, there's bamboo growing in the middle of the room. I'm curious how that is growing, if it's coming out of earth through the floor in a container. Doesn't say. And then here's a really neat detail. They had installed this sunken bathtub made out of stone. I'm not 100% sure how this works, how they get into it, but I think they probably would get in from one of the vertical sides and as opposed to walking down this incline. But it's neat to imagine filling it up. You could share it with your beloved. It's quite large. It's going to take a lot of water. So, some of these choices are impractical. Oh, look, here's the bamboo. We can see it's actually coming up through these little pebbles. Okay, so we don't quite know if there's, so I'm going to guess that because the nature of bamboo is to spread, that these are containers. And it is a little bit reckless to not have bamboo contained, but it's actually pretty easy to contain. So I'm going to suggest that these are containers, And this might be part of their watering system here. So getting that water into those containers on a regular basis to keep that bamboo green is going to be part of the programming. All right, here's a little garden shot. Very nice. Really interesting space. Very LA. Very large space. Crazy choices with regards to heating and cooling, but I live in the mid-Atlantic where, a heat wave, we're going to have multiple days, we're going to have like 30 days, maybe not in a row, but it's going to be well over 90 and not cool off much at night. So having some air conditioning really is important in this part of the world. Although I didn't always have air conditioning, but it's gotten hotter. So, and I've gotten older, so I feel more sensitive to that. And then the heat, like we are not, we're not okay to not have heat out here. It freezes for months at a time. So, but in LA, bundling up, I know this is true for California. In some way, Californians have a much more resilience around colder temperatures, but it doesn't freeze as often. So it's a little different. But if there's one takeaway, it's the hodgepodge, right? So like having hodgepodge, gosh, am I giving myself away here? Do I keep doing hodgepodge? I don't know, but I'm really smitten with the way something that isn't meant to go together, something that looks like it's juxtaposed, not the same style, comes from different lands, comes from different schools of design, how that can come together, create a really gorgeous look and personal, one that's unique, one that's special to these people, personal to you. The colors, I am definitely drawn to earthy colors right now. The woods feel just really sensual. They feel really warm and really comforting. So, and I say that living in my White House. So maybe there's something I'm leaning into and missing in my own space, and that's part of my attraction. All right, let me know what you think. Are you gonna redo your ceilings with grape, vine, lathe, lathe, lathe? All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.